Hi class, this is the video for 1.9. This is for for loops where we use a loop to repeat an action a set number of times. So here's one of the first examples that they just kind of give you the code so you can kind of play with it, see what happens. So let's just run it real quick, see what happens. Go into the loop, we hit move, the dog progresses. So if I zoom out a little bit, we can see a little counter down here. And I'll reset it again. We start the loop, it's at 0. We enter the loop, do the commands, go back, I is incremented by 1, do the commands in the loop, so on and so forth. So I'm going to add another command just to see this again. So now we should move, put ball, then start the loop over. And I'll break down each part. We move, we put the ball, we go back to the start. And he stops. So what exactly is happening here? So a for loop is declared with this statement here. For int I equals 0, semicolon, I is less than a number, I plus plus. What is this? Well, I is a counter variable. We use ijk depending on how many we really need. We started at 0. Typically we count up. And it's indexed at from 0, meaning if we want 10, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, here we only want 8. So it's I is less than 9. Consider your math. If you make this I equals 9, we would run it one more time. Less than or equals. And then at the end of the loop, we increment I by 1. Okay, and that has the effect of stepping forward one at a time through the steps of the loop. Let's move forward to another example. Another example where we have the code written for us. This we have it at I is less than 6. So how many times do you think this would run? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I equals 6, it's no longer less than 6. It would stop there. So this should put 5 balls, right? And then at the end of the loop, we have a command outside of it where it moves. And then this will show us how we exit and then can run code outside of it. Put ball 2, 3, 4, 5, I equals 6. We exit and we move. We see 6 balls were put down just like we predicted. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's take a look at a couple of examples. So in this exercise we have to, it's a very long course. Carol's been trying to run a marathon. He wants to move 26 times, no more, no less. And that should get him to where he needs to be, way over here. It's hard to see because it is such a small course. So let's blow it up. Okay. So we can see Carol the dog is just kind of running along the track. We want him to run partially, not all the way. If we have while loops, which are next, he would run all the way, which is much too far because we only want him to run 26 spaces. So let's take a look at writing that for loop. We start by writing for. We're going to declare the int. Our counter is I. We use ijk typically, just like we would in math for our counter variable. I equals 0. We always start everything at 0, semicolon. I is less than 26. Consider if we're counting up to 26, using 0, we stop at 25, and we have 26 numbers, correct? And then we're going to increment it I plus plus. Our I plus plus is shorthand for incrementing it, just like we would write I equals I plus 1. This is the same thing. And then it gets the 2 brackets, like we would for declaring a method. And our code that we want to repeat goes inside there, just indented once more, right? What does he want to do? You want him to move 26 times. He'd be better off running the marathon quickly, right? Okay, I is 24. 25 runs it the last time. We see I equals 26. I is no longer 26. So it exits the loop, the for loop, and we're done. Now, we could submit and continue, and it seems right, but I want to show one more thing. Now, we've been writing methods and then putting the methods in the run command, and we could do that again here. So, let's do it, just for practice. He's moving far. He's moving 26 miles, right? 26 miles in a marathon. Declare it like that, just like we normally do. And this is the code we're going to copy and paste. So we're going to Control C, copy, backspace. We're going to have him move far here. and put the code in. Is it indented properly? Yes. We indent again once from the bracket. Code gets indented once from the second bracket. Does it work? Yes, it just runs the loop down here. Let's just step through the start. Move far, jumps to the function, does whatever the function does, as we're used to. Just a good example there. So, moving on to the next one. Take them all. I figured I'd do a couple together with us just so we're all on the same page. So, what does this assignment want us to do? There's a stack of 100 tennis balls. We want them to move one, take all the balls, move again. I don't think we really need a paint diagram for this one, so I'll just go forward. Now let's take a look at just some things that we might not have noticed before. If we need help on our code, we have examples down here on the left, the quick docs. It shows us how to write the for loop. Another thing, we have all of our example code up here under the documentation, and there's even more if we leave the web. And we could see our loops down here. For loops. Code that will run count times. 0 to count, same thing as count minus 1. Alright, back to the code. Public void run. What do we want him to do? He needs to move onto the balls, take all the balls. I'm going to use methods again rather than writing the code in the run command, and I think it even required. Well, it just wants us to write it, but let's write a lot of methods. Move, take all the balls, and then it needs to move off the balls to be in the right spot. So let's declare our take ball all method. He's on the balls. What does he need to do? Just needs to loop how many times? We know how many times. I think this says there's a stack of 100 balls. If we didn't know how many times, we would use a while loop instead. For how do we declare it? Yeah, you're a second to think. Maybe you could write it before me. Okay. Start by from 0 all the time. I is less than, there's 100 balls, so 0 to 100, 0 to 99 is 100 numbers. Increment once every time. Brackets. Tab over. That's our command, right? Well, we could always check it in the docs if we're not sure. Zoop. Okay, let's see if that works. He moves, he takes all. What did I forget? Can you figure it out? That's right. Function take all. Oh, and I put the semicolon too. Did you catch that one too? Or just the void? Okay, move, take all. He's in the loop. I'm not watching him do this 100 times. Are you? Okay, he gets to the end, and we're done. I hope that cleared up how to write for loops, and I hope this also cleared up how to write methods.